but because thou art compassionate, purify me by the compassion of thy mercy.
Hello, all Antiochian men in the Diocese of Miami in the Southeast. My name is Michael Baclig, president of the Antiochian Men, and I am here at the Antiochian Village at the end of what's been a wonderful conference, an Ancient Faith Ministries Content Creator Conference, and I am here with Samuel Heble, who is the graphic design assistant at Ancient Faith Ministries, and he's doing a great job for them. I thought it would be great to do a quick Q&A with somebody from the Ancient Faith Ministries team. Samuel, thanks so much for being with us.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Why don't you start out, if you would, by telling us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, my name is Samuel Heble. I'm from Fayetteville, North Carolina. I'm 30 years old, and I'm a recent convert to Orthodoxy of 3 years. Yeah.
And your role at Ancient Faith Ministries, you deal with graphic design. Did I get your title right? Graphic design assistant?
Yes, you did. Yep.
What does that involve? What do you do for Ancient Faith?
Yeah, so pretty much right now I'm doing social media, graphics and e-blast and marketing material, and podcast covers. The art director handles the book covers, but with a lot of the other stuff, smaller stuff, that's pretty much on my plate. So
that's great. Well, how long have you been with Ancient Faith Ministries?
Yeah, I've only been there for 3 months, but it's been a great blessing so far.
That's great. So it's pretty brand new to you then?
Yes, absolutely, brand new. And I did 6 years working with a marketing agency, so I worked with a lot of different brands. But this is my first job where I'm working for one brand and one brand only. So. And
what a better brand than one that's in the church.
Absolutely. Yes, it's truly a blessing to have gotten this job. So.
Well, I wanted to ask if you were willing to share what was it that brought you to the Orthodox Church? Would you share a little bit about your journey to find Orthodoxy?
Yeah, I grew up a non-denominational Protestant for 23 years. Well, actually 27 years, I should say. I went to one church for 23 years of my life. Left church for about a year. Then I went to another church, charismatic, non-denominational. And some things happened with the pastor there, unfortunately, that me and my family had to leave. And we started our own missional community, home church, like a good Protestant would.
Sure.
And one night I had a mental breakdown in 2018, and I was going to see a therapist one day, and at the church, I went back to my first church after a while, and I was seeing a therapist there, and he was like, I don't think this is the church for you. I think you need something deeper. Which is interesting that him being at the church was kind of guiding me away from that church. But after that session, I just prayed. I was walking on train tracks and just crying and just praying to God to show me where to go.
Wow.
That very night, I went to my house church, and my sister runs up to me and shows me a graph of a timeline of the history of the church, where it shows that the Orthodox Church is the early church, and it continues and it never stops.
Yeah.
And it just splinters off into the Catholicism and everything. And that was it.
Wow.
We immediately started researching. And 2 weeks later, we went to our first Divine Liturgy, and we were pretty ready at that point for the church. Some people might think it was quick, but just providence.
Yeah.
So,
how long ago was that?
and that was back in when I first heard of the church. It was 2018.
Okay.
But then I converted, or I was chrismated December 2019.
Okay. And at what church do you attend now? Where are you? Where is it located?
Yeah, Fayetteville, North Carolina, St. Nicholas OCA Mission Church.
A church in the OCA?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Which is the Orthodox Church in America, for those that don't know, and it's a sister archdiocese to our own Antiochian Archdiocese. I'm curious, what was it that brought you to have a job here at Ancient Faith Ministries? How did that come about?
You know, I was working, like I mentioned, I was working in a marketing agency for 6 years out of school, and the pandemic hit, and I lost my job.
Oh.
Then I worked in some manual labor, worked in the chicken factory, worked in a cabinet crew for a little while, and just trying to get my feet back on the ground. And about 3 months ago, Melinda of Ancient Faith, the new CEO,
That's right,
posted a graphic on their Ancient Faith social media and about the open position for graphic design assistant.
Wow, that was that easy.
Yeah.
You applied then? Is that how it went?
Yeah, and I just applied. And
Wow.
The company's just growing so much that
Yeah.
they need to add that position. So, and yeah, just 2 weeks later they called me, and yeah.
Well, that's great. Speaking of Ancient Faith, we've been here at this wonderful Ancient Faith Ministries Content Creator Conference. It's just now coming to a close. This is kind of the last evening of the conference, and I can just say personally it has been an incredible experience, and I've learned so much. But I was wondering if you would share maybe some highlights from your point of view. What were some of your favorite parts?
Yeah, well, my favorite part is just the people. I mean, I really enjoy the workshops and everything, and learning like these different skills like audio, podcast production, children's illustration, writing children's books, writing itself. We got a lot of writers here this year, and that's all awesome, and I love that. But nothing beats just being with your brothers and sisters and just having that time together. But yeah, we have a lot of creative people here, a lot of intelligent people here, and then also having Vespers and Men's every day has been amazing. Very edifying.
And that's something that we're familiar with in the Diocese of Miami in the Southeast with the diocesan events that we have. We have our Parish Life Conference every year. We also have more than one spiritual retreat where we gather as a diocese together and we all attend services together. And, you know, in a service like Vespers that's usually lightly attended in our parishes, when you have, 100 people or more all in Vespers, all singing together, it's a special feeling. There's something different about it where you feel closer to God with that many people that are so close and so wanting to sing, and really from all over the country too. You're all coming together, and it's a beautiful thing. I would say that the services might have been part of why I enjoyed this so much, and to have people from the Greek Archdiocese, from the OCA, from the Antiochian, having a pan-Orthodox event. Would you speak about what that's been like to be among people that are Orthodox Christians but come from all these different, walks of life and backgrounds?
Yeah, it's been amazing. Old people, young people, people of different races, people of different economical standings, and different dioceses, different experiences, converts, cradles, and that's amazing. That's the diversity. That's the most multiplicity.
Mm-hmm.
But then you have the unity in Christ,
Right.
who's the overarching over us. So when we say brothers and sisters, we're uniting under Christ, our multiplicity under Christ.
Yeah.
And that's so beautiful. But it's been very enriching to hear people's stories and how they've come to Christ. And yeah.
Is this your first time at the Antiochian Village, or have you been here before?
Very first time.
Really?
Very first time. And getting to see venerate Saint Raphael's grave.
That's right. He is buried here, as is Metropolitan Philip and Bishop Antoon from our Antiochian Archdiocese. You know, the last time I was here was 30 years ago when I was a camper, and that's how long ago it's been for me. So I have been here before, but there's been so many changes. It's grown so much. There's a museum here now, which wasn't built the last time I was here, but the grounds are so beautiful too. I don't know if you've had time to do any exploring or walking on the trail or looking around, but what are your impressions of the property itself?
Yeah, it's beautiful. I mean, they have a meditation trail where they have different icons on this trail that you can venerate as you're going on to think about creation or God's creation, and that's been wonderful. Then you have the museum with a bunch of St. Raphael's relics in there, and to see that they have a camp and then a conference center. When we were here, we had a staff retreat before the conference.
Oh, right before?
And as that was going on, right across the street from the camping was an adult camp going on.
Wow.
So it's awesome to see so many people getting together with different, activities, and that's what this camp provides. This village.
Yeah, and there's a lot of events here at the Antiochian Village. Ancient Faith Ministries, they host multiple events during the year, including there's an Antiochian Women's Retreat coming up in November. My wife has already signed up for that and looking forward to coming back. But I just want to echo what you said. It's such a beautiful place to come for reflection, for your own spiritual growth, especially if you're attending events that Ancient Faith Ministries and others put on here at the Antiochian Village. I wonder, now that we're at the end of this amazing conference and we've heard from so many great speakers, we've had some great workshops in the fellowship that you mentioned, which was an amazing part of that as well, and the services. I know I feel truly inspired to go home and to kind of raise the bar in my local parish with what we're doing with Antiochian men. I wonder if you have had that same experience, and what are some of the things that you're going to take with you into your job?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things that I got from this event was there was an overarching thing in a lot of the talks given, and that was storytelling. And how important narrative is ingrained in us as humans, and that we follow story, and that's what forms us. And how important that is for us to start telling stories, whether it's film or writing or just our own lives. That we're telling a story that, again, can be different, can be multiplicity, can be diverse, but then it's always connecting back to the one grand story of the salvation. And that being the center of this event has been very important to me, and that is definitely something I'm going to be mulling over and reflecting, contemplating, and praying about as well. So
myself as well. One more question for you, and this conference was focused obviously on those who are interested in creating content, whether that's books or podcasts or really anything that has to do with Orthodox content. And there may be a lot of people watching this video that haven't attended one of these. They may be interested in becoming an author or contributing to the Antiochian men some of their own content, or starting a podcast. If they're interested in doing this, what would you say about attending this kind of event the next time that we have one, an opportunity to attend it? what would you recommend to someone who's thinking, man, I don't know if it's going to be worth the money and the travel, or if I can get away? What would you tell to that person who may be on the fence about taking the leap to try to come to something like this at the Antiochian Village?
Yeah, I would say definitely if you're on the fence, I would say I would encourage you to come. You got a lot of people here who are very skilled in what they do. Bobby Maddox, for example, with podcasting,
Yeah.
very knowledgeable, and other people in different crafts. But they can teach you so much, subtleties of the craft and nuances that you might not be able to figure out on your own or through online or other forms of education. And also networking as well, getting to know other writers and or other people within your craft that might be able to help you along the way. And then also, what I got from it was learning the weak points in the content creating of Orthodoxy, and where it really what points Orthodoxy is needed most.
Yeah.
Like, for example, children's books. We have a lot of children's books. We have a lot of adult books, but we do not have a lot of young adult books,
Right.
Middle grade books. And we desperately need that. And we can also give you contacts and even possibly give you an opportunity to publish with us, host with us. You host your podcast with us. And yeah, there's a lot of opportunity here. So if you're on the fence, I definitely encourage you to come to things like this.
It's a great response, and I especially love what you said about the networking potential, because I know I met so many people, including yourself, and it was great to make connections with people that have all different kinds of talents that we could potentially work with down the road. So that part was really wonderful. I did say it was my last question, but I thought of one more. Okay. I'm going to give you a bonus question, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
So when I met you, you actually already had known who I was just through the Antiochian Men.
Absolutely.
Through our YouTube channel, you were aware we have a podcast, which is called Coming Out of Chaos. And I can tell you there were multiple podcast workshops that I think is going to help take that to the next level. I'm really excited to improve on what we've started with Coming Out of Chaos. And I'm curious of what your impressions are of the Antiochian Men from the interaction that you've had with us, even though you're not technically in our diocese, but you're in an OCA church in the same general part of the country. How has it been for you? What's been your impressions of the Antiochian Men from what you've seen and heard?
Yeah, it's crucial. This ministry is really crucial. We're seeing an uptake. I'm sure everybody knows this, but we're seeing an uptake of young men coming into the church, and they need shepherding. Young men in our culture need shepherding, including myself. Getting past a lot of bad ways of thinking, and or foolish ways of thinking, and it's been it's such an edifying ministry. I always think of Father Hans's 40-second rule. If you only have 40 seconds to complain, and then you have to move on.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
It's great advice for all of us.
Yes, right? Absolutely. And I'm thinking, man, why doesn't he just go for the full minute? Because I got 20 more seconds of complaining to do. Right. But it's wise not to go the full minute.
Yeah.
It's just to say, Lord have mercy, and move on.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate the fact that you have been watching and listening to some of our content. It was humbling to hear that someone working for Ancient Faith was already aware of what we were doing. And I want to thank you for what you're doing at Ancient Faith Ministries. You're an inspiration to me. Everyone that I've met from your team is just really high quality, just great, good character people, the best kind of people that you could meet. So that's been inspiring for me as well. I want to ask everyone to make sure that you check out the Ancient Faith Ministries website and especially the Ancient Faith store and check out the many different things they have for sale and, of course, all of the great podcasts and music that they have on their Ancient Faith radio app. We heard at this conference that a new app is coming very soon, so that's going to be great and exciting to look forward to, an upgrade to their previous app. So that's something that we can see very, very soon, so be on the lookout for that. For anybody who is not already aware, these videos are, of course, on our YouTube channel, but they're also on our website. Please visit us at antiochianmen.org. We would appreciate it if you would also click on subscribe to our YouTube channel and like this video and share it with someone that you think would enjoy this content. Also, don't think for a second that we're running out of videos to share on our YouTube channel. We have more great interviews like this one coming very soon, so be sure to stay tuned and check back with us often. Thanks for watching as always, and I look forward to talking to you next time.
The ways of salvation, O Theotokos, for I have profaned my whole life with procrastination. But by thine intercessions, purify the